Hello, the magic of
Hi.
technology, and I love you got the drum kit behind you.
Yeah, this is the first time I've done an Instagram live like this. I've done one with our band, but not like talking. It's fun.
Welcome.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
joining me today. And how are you feeling? How's your morning going?
It's been great. I mean, it's the last week of school, so that's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. We're
Yeah.
just trying to breathe into it. And on my morning walk, I found this book. Um, I
Whoa, that's a good
know.
graphic. Is it a kid's book?
Yes. What?
Is it a
It's a
kid's
kid book.
book?
It's a kid's book. Yeah. And I
I
feel
miss
like
kid
this
book
is
land.
just what I needed for this week, for the next few months. I mean, well, always, but just
Yeah,
remembering,
I was gonna say every day, all the time, but
all the
also,
time,
yeah.
actually. I know.
Yes,
Um,
so true.
yeah.
Welcome, Martha and Wendy Vinton. Hello,
Thanks.
friends.
Hi, friends.
Um,
It's my mom
please
and
jump
sister.
in the chat. Really? Oh,
Hmm.
perfect. Perfect. Jump in the chat, throw some love in there. Um, questions if you want us to address them in the moment. But um, our usual program is hello. There's a hello. Um,
Yay.
I mean, feel free to talk about your people and just because they're here, because that's all part of the picture, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Wendy and I were getting in a very deep existential conversation yesterday because that's what happens sometimes. And it started with hummingbirds because she has hummingbirds in her backyard, like a lot of them. And I just feel like we both
Oh,
feel like when I see a hummingbird, I'm just so excited. I feel like
it's
they're
like a
so
magical
magical,
visit. Yeah,
right? It's so
yeah.
special. She has them come all the time. This is how special she is. And a mama hummingbird made a nest on her porch. So she's
Nice.
been watching the nest. She's been worried about the babies. Are the babies still there? Like, what's happening? Because she didn't see them every day. And they finally got a video of the mama bird feeding the baby birds. And I was just like, oh, that is incredible and
Thank
special.
you. What a
And,
beautiful
you know,
image.
yeah,
So for me, this is all part of the theme of nature knows what to do. And sometimes they want our assistance, but sometimes our assistance is to just leave it alone and let it be.
yeah.
Because
And
mama knew, right? And babies knew somehow.
it's true. And they felt comfortable enough to be there in her
Yeah.
backyard.
Yeah.
They had a trust.
And isn't that what we need? This is your book, Courage, right?
It's
Just
true.
like courage, flip side, same side is trust. I'm going to be
Yes.
okay no matter what happens on the other side of this. And courage is not for like doing dumb things. It's for like, no, I believe this is really good. There's something good on the other side.
And we are all connected, as Adi just
We're
said.
all connected,
And
says
it's true. We're
Wendy.
connected to the
Yes.
nature. Yeah, we're part of it. I mean, being in nature is can be so magical. We can just feel when we lay down on the earth and just feel connected, like we can feel being grounded. Um, and I know that my kids, when I get my kids out in nature, like I can just see their whole bodies, especially my son who's autistic. When he is in nature, he just relaxes in a way that doesn't always happen in the day to day, of things that we're doing and places where we are. But in nature, everything makes sense, and you know,
So this is all new to me, everything you're saying, and it's such a comfort. And I don't mean like I never thought that before, but how deeply resonant it means for our own lives and our own guidance and comfort. And I've been a spiritual person all this time, but thought it was like kind of over there. And then I'm also a business person and an entrepreneur and now a business coach. Like now I'm like, oh, not only are we all connected, it's all connected. Everything is connected.
yes,
Because of course we're the people who are living out whatever we're living out. business, all our identities essentially, right? You are many people, as was great in your bio, right? Your cover, that you're you could say multi hyphenate.
Right. Well, thank you.
Musician, advocate, mom, like we have many hats and we could even go on, right? And all of it is connected in that it's the who that does business, the who that does mother, that does advocate. So,
Well, and we are connected. And I think, we can start this conversation by saying even how we met, because
yes,
we have been fans of each other for a while, but your
yes.
store, okay, so Ruby's Garden, I mean, just that name. I mean, it was clothing store. And I don't know, when did you start it? How long did you have that?
Oh, oh six. So Ruby
Yeah,
was
oh
three
06.
when I started it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I started it with my friend Mary, and it was just a little dream. And she was going to do the flowers. She did the flowers. We had a flower shop, so that was the garden part.
Well, then
But
there was art, but there was art. I just remember birds like hanging
yes,
from the ceiling, and
yes.
it was so colorful, and I felt really inspired, like being in your store. Like even though it was
I
just a
love
clothing
that.
store for kids, it felt
Yeah.
like a lot more than that. And yeah, you connecting with me there. And should I tell the story of how we met?
Oh, I love it. I love it,
And
partly because I had just remembered. I mean, thank you for remembering it. Yes,
well,
please
and
do.
we had met, so I take that back because we had known each other, but just through the store, and we'd say hello, and I think we did know each other's names. But you started following my band, and you were like, "Oh, hey, Elise, I started following your music. I didn't know you're in a band." And I said, "Oh, well, I mean, it's not like a real band, we just like do it for fun." And you were like, "Well, what do you mean? I mean, if you're in a group with musicians, like that sounds like a band. You are a real band." And I was like, well, it's not like we can go on tour or anything because, we have 3 kids and we're too busy. And you said, and which it stayed with me because you said, Elise, you're in a real band, and why can't you just make it whatever you want it to be? It was like I had this idea of how it needed to be, and so we can't do it, you know?
Yeah,
So we'll
yeah,
just keep it like for fun, and also as a way of like protecting myself, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. It's so classic. I mean, it's so classic. Again, your courage graphic, right? Like it's just you want it. You want so much. We all want so much. It's scary to name the things we want as big as they really are.
Right.
And this was just one piece of it where I could see it for you. It's easy for me to see it for you, right? Like, I mean, if I had seen your Instagram, I'd seen, like I heard something like, wow, you guys are fully talented.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, you were being a band. Everything a band is
Yes.
without,
And
with, yeah.
my sister and I were just talking yesterday about manifesting your realities. And I started working with a life coach at the beginning of the pandemic. And yeah, I felt really overwhelmed being a mom, having an autistic son at home, one with ADHD, a 4-year-old. Well, he was 3 at the time, and not being able to do our
Mhm.
music, like not being able to get out and do our music. And my life coach said to me, well, why don't you make your music like your job? Even though, it's not something that you're getting paid for right now. If you want that, you can
Yeah.
just say that out loud, write it down, and you start working towards that, you know? And a girlfriend and I also started doing the artist way.
Ooh, powerful. It's
Yes. Have
so
you done
good. It's
it?
an oldie but goodie.
It's an oldie but
I
goodie that I pulled out so many times and never finished until
I mean,
finally.
I will say I didn't finish, and
That's,
also
you know what? You
I
don't
went
have to
super,
finish.
yeah, you don't have to finish.
No.
It's a gift. It's a gift for you to open up whatever you want to open up.
Yeah.
For
And
me, it
whenever you
was
open
just,
it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, the most basic thing was just show up to yourself. Like those 5 longhand pages. trust that something is talking.
Right.
Always.
And you have something to say. And it's
You have something to
okay
say.
to talk about the things that you want to do,
Yeah.
um, and putting them out there into the universe, you know,
Hmm.
as big as they may seem, as far away, as out of reach, you know. The moment you allow yourself to say, hey, you know what, I'm a musician. Like, I want to go to Nashville and write songs. And now I'm doing that. I'm moving to Nashville.
Exactly. I can imagine a day where that sounded crazy, and here you are.
Yeah,
And it started from the day it sounded crazy. Do you know what I mean? It started
right,
this trajectory to today started the day you said, I want this. It
right.
was as powerful, magical spell just by saying it. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
Like it became real because you
Yes,
said
you
it out
voice
loud.
it. Yeah, you say it
You
out
voiced
loud
it.
and you allow it to be. And of course, you're going to have fear. You're going to be on the diving board, like questioning yourself
Yeah.
some days. Like, what am I doing? You know, am I good enough to do this? Everyone's so talented there. You know, everyone's been playing instruments since they were born. um, I've always been a performer, but not playing the guitar, or I've been singing, but for a long time it wasn't, I didn't think, oh, I'm not a professional singer, you know,
Oh my gosh.
but
Can you imagine what everybody else is saying about you? Oh my gosh, been performing forever. I just started. I mean, I can play the guitar, but she's a performer. We just all bring our own stories and our own gifts and really, it's just our own like special chemistry of all the gifts that we bring. There's no one else like you.
I love
And
that.
by the
Thank you.
way, think about all the people who are like, oh, too bad I can't do that. Too bad I wish I could, but I can't. I mean, yes, you can, and you're doing it.
Well,
Think about
it's
all the
really
people.
hard. I think it's really hard, especially with everything's happened, the past few years, and being a parent, and you get really busy, you know, advocating for my kids. Advocating for our kids is a lot of work, but also when you have neurodiverse kids like I do,
Yeah.
working on IEPs and getting the right kind of support for your kids, it's a full-time job. But also, you just can't forget yourself, and getting support for yourself, but also doing the things that fill your buckets and that inspire you, because you can't be a good parent if you are not doing the things that you love. And like, I really hit a low point, as I'm sure we all did during that pandemic. I broke my foot. It was horrible. And I was just
Mm.
like, we weren't getting any help. And we just hit this low point where I was like, I can't actually do this. Like, we need people to come in the house to help with the kids. Um, so I think it's about being real with
Mm.
getting help. Help is okay, whatever that looks like,
Mm.
you know.
I love that. That's a theme. Help is okay.
Help is
I'm,
okay.
I'm,
Uh-oh.
oh, sorry.
I didn't
It's
hear
a
you. Okay, now I
moment.
hear you.
It's a moment for all the spam calls.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
um, I'm working on a course to help, sort of like help, I want to say like knock down the barriers in the way for people who are working on their own to start hiring team, which to me is just like if you
Hmm.
need help, you get to have help. And not only get to have help, but in a way like you're responsible to get the help you need. Because, I don't know, burned out mommy, that's not good. Angry
It's
mommy,
not
resentful
good.
mommy, you know what I mean? I don't know where you went, but
Yeah,
it's
all
it's a
of that.
story to say,
Yeah.
oh no, I got to do it myself because I'd rather be rah rah rah, right? Like like no, nobody
Right.
wants that. You don't
Nobody
want
wants
it. You
that.
shouldn't want that.
Well,
And
I mean, also there was a lot of fear with the COVID and,
totally,
bringing people in. But sometimes, like, you have to balance the risk too of, you
Isn't
know.
that where we are today? Now we find out
Yeah,
it's a balance of risk. It isn't like if A, then B. It's
right.
a lot of balancing.
And a lot of
Yeah.
balancing to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, you know? Like I
Yeah.
feel really proud of myself to be in a place where I'm putting my mental health at the same place as, exercise or eating right, you know? Like mental health is like right up there.
Basic foundation level. I've probably said this like 100 times on various episodes, but like for me, the uh, flagpole or whatever to plant is like I really do better with 8 hours of sleep.
Yes.
It's something I've always been a little bit like prideful, like I don't need sleep. I can work late. I'm so powerful. And now age or wisdom or both is like, stop it. It's not, it's like an illness to say, I'd rather work right now than sleep.
Right.
Than,
Well, and I think that brings us to time management too, because, people can be like, oh, how are you doing that? Where do you find the time? And it's like, I'm tired a lot because
yeah.
we do stay up late to work on music a lot, after the kids have
Mm,
gone to bed.
mm,
And I really want to be that person that gets up at like 5 a.m. to work on stuff, but I'm not there right now because I like to sleep in a little, I mean, sleeping in
yeah.
with kids is like 6:30 or 7. But,
Yeah.
I think that's really important too, right? It's just like scheduling and trying to work on your thing like a little bit here and there in between all the other stuff that you're doing with the kids, you know, um,
Or getting more help if
or getting
possible.
more help. Exactly.
Because imagine, I mean, your life coach said, what if you treated this like a job? What
Yes.
if you treat, right? And I think the only difference is this concept of being paid versus not paid. It is a job, right? It's a job
Right.
as soon as you decide it's a job. This is my work. Because
Yes.
work, I mean, if we say, I think vocation is a nice word because it's really like calling, right? It doesn't have to be, it's work that's calling, not necessarily work that's paycheck or um, for dollars.
Right. And
And
it could lead to that too, but it's true. It's if it's your work and it's making you happy, you know, and it's
exactly.
like the work that you need to do to be inspired.
And I would say we all need you to do that work too. It's not talked about
Oh,
enough in our culture how much value the artists, the creatives bring to life
I
in this
love that.
world.
Yeah.
It's it's a kick I'm on right now. It's like, how can I use my business coaching toward artists, creatives? Because
And you're being of service to people.
yes, yes,
Um,
that music, it lifts
yeah,
people. You've seen it, right?
I have seen it and it's very special. Like we just had a show the other night and a few people stayed to say something afterwards or, told us that they heard the lyrics. Like we sing a song about about being new parents. And yeah, it's really powerful. And I think that we do have to think about lifting each other up, and helping
Hmm.
each other to all find that place of where we can be creative and find that happiness and joy and share with each other. And social media can be unhealthy in a lot of ways, but like I love Instagram. Like I think there's a lot of creative people sharing ideas and supporting each other, and the idea, and we talked about this the other day, that there's enough pie for everyone. What were you
Yes.
saying? It's not like we
Uh,
have
it's
to.
not a zero sum. It's
Mm,
we don't have to envy others. We can all have the same happy life when we see other people. Is that what we talked
we
about? I think
can.
we talked about a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
things,
I
but
know.
but just that when we see, I mean, this is something that I say with envy in business coaching because it's easy to, one of the things I teach on, lead on, is do it the way you want to do it. Don't look that way at how they're doing, performing musician, performing band. Don't look this way at how they're performing business coach. Look inside. And that's our, um, the key. It's really the key to our success
Right,
and our
because then you
joy.
realize, like you said, like if there's only one of you and you're unique and you're being your authentic self, the way that you do it is going to be its own thing. So you don't
Its
have to
own,
compare yourself,
exactly, its own
you know?
powerful thing. So yeah, that's where social media, I think it's like it's easy to be like, yeah, just in the comparison energy, which leads to envy energy or jealousy.
Hmm.
I forget which the difference, but
And
but
maybe it's
I
just,
think,
and then it's stuff you want. You can realize like, oh, maybe that's right. That's
well, I wouldn't be surprised that you saw somebody who moved to Nashville and you're like, they're so lucky they get to. I don't know where you went, but it would be easy, right? Before you're ready to say it for yourself, you might see it on somebody else and be like,
right.
oh, they're making themselves big. They're making me feel bad for for keeping
Right.
myself small.
Well, for
I don't
me,
I
there
don't mean
was
to
a lot
project it
because
on you, but yeah.
yeah, for me there was a lot of that with acting because I am an actor, but um, I'm not like actively pursuing it right now because I'm working on the music more. But I did move to LA and tried to do that, and I was miserable, and I was so
Mm,
caught up in like what everyone else was doing,
hmm.
and the auditions that people were getting and booking, and I got called back on some things, but I never ended up booking anything in LA. And I think it was because I just wasn't, I was too worried about like who I thought I needed to be instead of
Yes.
instead of just being confident with what I had to bring to the table. I was too worried. And then when I was rejected, I I became just more insecure, you know? So then I went off social media for like 7 years, honestly. And
Mm,
um and felt like it was good for me to kind of
of
regroup. And
course. Yeah.
in that time, I had 3 kids. We started a band when I turned 40. I learned to play guitar, which I'd never picked up a guitar until I was 40. Um,
What? You're new
yeah,
to guitar. You're that new to it's
I'm that
that's
new
beautiful.
to guitar, and I have done singing, like I did singing growing up, and then I went through a large part of my life where I wasn't singing, and I've come
Mm.
back to it. I'm a singer. I love singing. Like one of my
You're
friends is
our
like,
singer.
she's like, you're always singing, and I'm like, I am always singing. Like I'm like always singing to myself, and I'm working on songwriting because I've been writing with Matthew for a long time, but I've always thought of him as the songwriter. But I'm always
Mm.
contributing. And then
Hmm.
someone told me, if you change one thing or you have your input, then you're also a part of
Co-writer,
writing the song. Yeah, co-writer. I'm like, oh, I
co-creator.
want my,
Hmm.
all my co-writing.
Oh, and Matthew, I'm sure, loves you and welcomes it, right? I mean,
He does. I mean,
he's,
even with my
yeah.
little folkies teaching, he's very like regimented. Like, okay, have you, rehearsed for your class? I'm teaching a class for babies and toddlers and parents, and it's so magical. But he'll be like, okay, you need to go and practice. You need to go and rehearse. And I love that. He gets
Hmm.
very nervous before shows, even when we're just doing them in our neighborhood. He's like, no, we have to get those rehearsals in. And I love that. I mean, Matthew has performed in front of like 30,000 people before. So, like, he has
Wow.
been in a band touring around. And so he
Yeah.
does take it very seriously. And
Yeah.
so that's how we work on it, And we
Yeah.
can't give it as much time as we'd like to all the time, but we're always like chipping away. And we're almost done with an album, a whole album of music.
I can't believe, I mean,
Yeah.
isn't that so? Wait, can you just, I don't know if you feel how awesome that is.
I mean, I just have to say, like, I'm really proud of us because we
Good.
persevered and we're working with a friend in LA who's really talented, who's helping us to produce and helping us to bring in some new music, some musicians on it. And it reminds me about what I loved about acting was that
Mm,
when you were acting with a group of creative people and you come together and you're working on this project, it's like
yeah.
one thing to do it by yourself, but then when you work with all these other people to make this thing that you're putting out there, and that's what the music has become, and that's why I love being on the stage performing with the band, and also, yeah, making the music. I'd never recorded music before, so I wasn't used to being in a studio and how that worked. Um, and so I'm learning just so much, and we're telling a story with our album, the story of, falling in love and being artists, being creatives, not sure if we wanted kids, and then deciding to have kids, and then trying to figure out how can we keep that other part of us, alive,
Mm.
like be parents and also creatives, because we have to, or we'll
Because you
die.
have to, because yes, yes, isn't that the truest thing? And it's not in that. So we talked about how I was a kid store owner. I feel like what you just described, if I could have said that to every new parent, mostly it was moms, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
keep yourself alive or else you'll
Right? Like your
die.
soul. Don't let your soul
Your
just like,
soul, your essential you-ness, because this world, and I don't know if my kid is 19, almost 19 now, so I don't know how much the parent, maybe the generation has changed. In when I was coming up, it felt like your job now, you just had a baby. Whoever you were before doesn't matter. All you should do right now is focus on this baby. You are now
right.
nobody but this baby's life sustenance. And
I
he'll
mean,
die without
yeah.
you. Actually, just like those hummingbirds, they're kind of okay if we all are taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And as whole people, that hummingbird mama, we didn't know where she was, right? Wendy's like, "Where's the mom?" Right? Because she was
Right.
taking care of things and
Yeah.
knew that the baby was okay. And then came back
Right.
and gave the babies what they needed. Anyway,
It's
I
true.
just feel like that's what I said a lot to
Yeah.
myself because I had to unhypnotize myself from that message and say like, oh, May still is here. May still is not entirely a mother. I just got here. But before that, I was this, this, this. Anyway,
Yeah.
just that your album has this message, even more like the world needs your message, right? It's like you wrote a book. It's like you wrote a inspirational, like,
Yeah, and it's really important for us to finish and for us to put it out there, and and feels good to be moving forward with that. We just keep moving forward. That's what we have to do, you know.
yeah,
But I think too, it's been really hard on women for the pandemic because a lot of things have fallen on mom's shoulders,
for sure.
even more than they had before.
Yeah.
And I didn't go back to work for a while. I was working in a restaurant that I worked in for a long time. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know how I can go back to work, you
Right.
know? I didn't
Yeah.
know. But then I
Yeah.
realized I needed to, not for just the financial thing, but also for me. And um, and yeah, the little focus thing just kind of fell into my lap. And I was like, of course, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be
It's
teaching music, and I love it. And it's like so inspiring for to see, babies at a young age like responding to music, but also parents doing something that's fun and connecting with other parents. And we've been holding the classes in backyards. And we were doing a song the other day. I can't remember which song we were doing. Maybe Fuzzy Caterpillar. And we saw a hummingbird. I had to be like, oh, wait, look, do you see the hummingbird? This is very special. This is a good sign,
hmm
you know? So,
Well, and not only then are you, so here's the thing that I love to point out. It's in parenting, but also you as a little folkies teacher. You are not just delivering a song. You're not just delivering the service of facilitating children singing. You are being your actual self, modeling joy, modeling love. I mean, I think you're actually loving these kids, right? And
mm,
you're modeling wonder about the hummingbird. It's presence. That's what it comes down to, I
it's
think.
presence. And it does remind me, even though I'm just teaching a class with, young kids and parents, I'm I'm teaching them the music, but I get something from it similar when I'm performing with my band and sharing this music and like how happy it makes me. And so I want everyone to find that, you know?
Don't,
Everyone
have you
deserves to
ever,
find that.
yeah. Have you ever, like I've had this before where I don't always like, say, a genre of music, but if that person is like filled with joy, I'm like, I don't know if I can say I like this music, but I want to go be around this person
Well,
performing.
you can feel it,
You
right?
can feel
When
energy.
someone's being their authentic self. I was just listening to Billy Porter be
Uh-huh.
interviewed on a show,
Okay.
and I guess he has a book out, but he was just talking
Mm,
about how, you know, Billy Porter?
mm,
Do you know him, the actor? Okay, well,
mm.
he he's fabulous, actually. But he is an actor and a performer, and he wore to one of the, I think the Oscars or whatever, like a tuxedo on top and like dress on the bottom.
Awesome.
And yeah, it was awesome.
Breaking
And
boxes. Yes.
yeah, and he was just like, this is me. You know, people for a long time told him too if he was going to be out as a gay actor, it was going to get in the way of things.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, obviously things have changed, but he was just talking about how he's still working on it too, right? Being his
Hmm.
authentic self, being who he is. And
Well, even if 2022 is a certain way, we were brought up all these decades with old voices, right?
yes, that we
Whenever we
still
were,
hear.
yeah, carry around. Yeah. Um, I had told you that I would ask these structured questions, and I've loved our conversation so much that I want to just kind of skip most of it, except
Okay.
I think we were at your album, and that um, you want to uh, get the word out about your album, that maybe that is a current challenge. Is there
Well,
something
I
around
think,
that you're
oh
feeling?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where we're like, oh, um, what's going to be the next step, you know?
Mm,
And I think it's probably going to look like paying other people to help us, you know,
okay. Distribute
investing.
or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. How does that feel?
I mean, that part feels kind of scary. It's also like the move to Nashville. It's like, oh, how are we actually going to do that? You know? Well, I think it's about taking it one step at a time and then
Yeah.
leaning into that fear of like, yeah, we're going to do it, you know, and we're going to
Hmm.
figure it out, and we're going to find people to help us, and um, and I don't know what that looks like yet, and that's okay.
I think you do know what it looks like. I think the block, right? I mean, what it looks like is,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't mean to be glib, but like you do know what it looks like. Everyone knows how to move in a way, right? You just move. Like you just, logistics.
no, that's
But
true. Yeah,
what you're talking about really is the why of moving to Nashville, right? Like, what is it going to look like for us to
right.
nurture our careers there? What does that mean, really? And I think the first thing
Yeah,
is being willing to maybe morning page, just write out like the dream. What is the dream? Allow yourself to dream. And I know it's so hard
it's
to really
scary. You
open up.
start to question yourself. Yeah, you know.
I mean, you're gonna have that, like, you could say mean voice that says, "What are you thinking?" But I want to reframe that as there are places inside you that have served you that want to protect you from disappointment. And I mean, I feel like it's kind of a lot of our parents' voices. We talked a little bit about your mom, saying, like, not always understanding the dream and wanting to just protect you, protect themselves, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
and she's definitely supportive. I think she might still
And
be
she
here.
loves you. Exactly.
Love
She
you,
totally
mom.
loves you. So, yes. Yeah, yeah. And I'm just saying it's all love. It's even self-love, this part of you that's like, at least don't get too big for your britches, right? Like
Oh, it's
it's
so much
it's like a
self-love,
do
you
you know what I
know?
mean?
Yeah,
It's meant to be. And here's what I learned from one of my many coach friends who said, you get to just say to that voice, you can name it. I have a name for that protective voice, Maud. Thank you,
Oh, you have
Maud.
a name for yours. Oh, I
Thank
like
you,
that.
Maud. I know you want to, you're looking out for me.
Yeah,
I got it though. I got it. I got this one. We're gonna try. We're gonna do our best, but we're also gonna be okay, no matter what happens.
right.
We're gonna accept whatever is, and we're gonna set our sights huge. And
I
it's
think
safe
that's
to do
right.
that.
And it's safe to do that. And knowing too that we've been working on it, because we
Yeah.
have been doing the work. We've been doing the work, little by
Yes.
little every
Yes.
day. And
Wendy
we just,
says, love that. Write it down. You
I
see, Wendy?
love that. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you,
so
Wendy.
true. So,
And it's, morning pages, it's safe to just talk to yourself at first, right? And before you might have to negotiate with yourself a little bit. Like, no, scratch out, scratch out. I can't say that. And then you write it again and you
right. No,
say,
the morning pages, for anyone who doesn't know, that is a part of the artist way of just waking up before you get on your phone, before it's hard for me to start it before I've had coffee, but
yeah,
and just free flowing and just letting it out, because we have to let out some of that energy too. It's not like there's sometimes we're holding on to the negative energy. Wendy and I were talking about actually taking bath, the bath salts to just like you're literally cleansing your soul.
mm-hmm,
That's what the morning
mm-hmm,
pages are too, I think, right? You're just kind of just like
mm-hmm.
letting it all out. So
Yeah,
then you can be in a place of clarity and be like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I do know, you know,
yes,
there's all this
yeah.
stuff happening that is trying to distract me. But if I'm like grounded and open to the universe, oh, this is another book I like too. The
Mm.
universe has your back.
I just got that from the library. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
you
looking
did?
forward
Of
to
course
it.
you did.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
I put it
Uh-huh.
by my bed, so I wake up and I just look at it. I'm like, okay, the universe has my back. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You can just look at the cover and just
Yeah,
remember all you need to know.
yeah,
Oh, Elise, we could talk all day.
we
But
could.
I just if I can give you a little coaching tip,
Yep,
do write down the dream and start from there. See if you can open up all the gates. You know what I mean? Don't leave any door like no, too scary. See if you can open it
right.
all up. And then, I mean, you have Matt to partner with, and you hopefully you can dream well for each other. You know what I mean? You can like see doors that the other can't see for the other, and then you both are
Yeah,
lifted
I
up
love
all the
that.
way to the like, wait, no, it would be even cooler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I can just imagine. Wait, can you imagine us on that stage that we've seen other, like just all the way. And just don't be afraid to like say those things, list down. Some people say like make a list of 100 things that you want. And
Why
it's just a
not?
list. Yes. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's true. You
to
don't have to
be
limit
truthful,
yourself.
the book says 5,000 things. And I was like, ugh.
Oh God, that's way too many.
I mean, but their point was go ahead and be extra because that's kind of what we need
Extra.
to pull
Like this dress,
ourselves.
like this dress. This dress is extra.
Oh, the dress. Exactly. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
you're not
Tell
too
me.
much.
You're not too much. All of it is possible. And the reason it gets to be on that list, and here's where, if others will excuse me, my language, you get to write that list. I want to be on that stage. I want to meet that person because you fucking feel like it. I use
I
that
love that.
profanity
Yeah,
because
fuck yes.
it's like it helps us tap into this like passion, this like
It's true.
it doesn't have to be logical and clean and
Right,
rational and possible just because you feel like it. Because
right.
that sounds fun. Because
Yeah,
that's what I want. No, full stop, period. Just like
love that,
we are a
May.
band, period.
Yes,
It's just, you
thank
don't
you.
need a qualifier
Right,
and
qualifiers, throw those
yeah,
out.
throw them out. You don't need them. I mean, partly they're not helpful.
They're not, they just get in the
It's not
way.
even, yeah, yeah, true, not true. Is it, blah, Just forget it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. When is Nashville moving date? Do you have an actual moving truck?
End of July. End of July.
End
It
of
was going to
July.
be August 1st, but now I think it might be last week of July. So, yep, we're
It's
doing
right
it. We're
around the
just going to do
corner.
it. We're just going to jump off into the,
Into the,
it's going to be
yes.
good. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Um,
So,
I
and we'll
would
stay
love if
connected.
you would, yes, stay connected with me. I'm super rooting for you, if you can't tell.
Thank you.
Like,
Mwah.
I don't know, whatever I can do to support you, or you and Matt, however you want to do it. Like, you could just like send me your big dreams list. Sometimes just what
Okay.
I do as a coach is just be a witness. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I
Yeah.
just get to say like someone outside of your bubble witnessed this thing.
And you
And
were a witness when I saw you
and
at
I was
Ruby's Garden. See, you were already doing that. You were
yeah,
already you were already working on your list,
I was, and I didn't
So,
even know. No,
and you didn't
I
even
didn't
know.
know
But I could
what
see
I
it.
couldn't know.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, she's
Yeah.
so wise and like spiritual. I'm like also grounded. Like I love her.
I mean, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
And I also
yeah.
joke like, oh my gosh, you mean I could get paid to tell people what to do? I think that's kind of awesome.
Yes,
So
yes.
anyway, it gets to
And
be
to
win-win.
help people follow their dreams, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And not be
Oh yeah.
scared to do it. So that's
And I'll tell
awesome that
you,
you're doing that.
supporting you in your dreams supports
Yeah,
me in my dreams. You know that, right?
we're all
Like
supporting each other in our dreams.
it's a co-creation all the time. I don't have answers. I just can see things for you that it's harder to see for me. So when
I
I
hear
say
you.
it to you, I go, oh, right, this is for me
All
too.
right. Yes, totally.
So it's been
Well, thank you
humbling
so
and
much for
really
having
freeing.
me. Thank you so
Yes,
much for
thank you
having me
so
today.
much. And your people, your crew that all jumped in. Thank you
I
so much
know.
all
Thank
for
you,
being
people.
here.
I love you guys.
All right.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.